had fame, fortune, and the roar of the crowd, but now they're locked away behind bars. These NFL stars went from the big leagues to the big house, and their stories are as shocking as they are tragic. Stay tuned, because the last player on this list has a case so unbelievable it'll leave you speechless. Without wasting time, let's get in. Kellen Winslow Jr. He had it all: NFL stardom, family legacy, and fame. But the shocking downfall of Kellen Winslow Jr. proves that even the brightest stars can fade into darkness. Born on July 21, 1983 in San Diego, California, Kellen Winslow Jr. grew up in football royalty. His dad, Hall of Fame tight end Kellen Winslow Sr., set the bar sky high. Determined to shine on his own, Kellen Jr. rose through the ranks, dominating at the University of Miami. By 2004, he was drafted 6th overall by the Cleveland Browns, seen as the future of the team. He proved his worth, making the Pro Bowl in 2007 and leaving a mark with his works at Tampa Bay, New England, and the Jets. But behind the gridiron glory, cracks were forming. In 2005, a motorcycle accident sidelined him, foreshadowing a string of off-field issues. Then came the arrest in 2013 for synthetic marijuana possession, but that was just the beginning. In 2018, the real bombshells dropped. Winslow was charged with multiple counts of sexual assault, including the sexual assault of a homeless woman, kidnapping, and burglary.
It was in 2019 when Kellen Winslow Jr. was convicted of multiple charges, including forcible.
By 2019, a jury found him guilty of heinous crimes, and he was sentenced to 14 years in prison. His actions shattered his personal life. His wife, Janelle, filed for divorce, and his kids were left to grapple with the fallout. Professionally, Winslow's name became a cautionary tale, forcing the NFL to address player conduct and mental health more seriously. Now that the ride is all over, let's move over to the underground scenes behind athletes. Sam Hurd. From the NFL's bright lights to the shadows of the drug underworld, this is the shocking story of Sam Hurd, a football star with talent and promise whose double life led to a dramatic fall from grace. Stick around for the jaw-dropping details of his rise and downfall. Sam Hurd's story started in San Antonio, Texas, where football wasn't just a game, it was a lifestyle. A natural talent, Sam stood out on his high school team and earned a scholarship to Northern Illinois University. There, he shined as a wide receiver, impressing NFL scouts with his speed and clutch plays. But Hurd's journey to the NFL wasn't easy. Undrafted in 2006, he fought his way onto the Dallas Cowboys as a free agent. By 2011, Hurd leveled up, signing a $5 million deal with the Chicago Bears, a chance to prove himself on a bigger stage. On the field, Hurd was a hard-working athlete. Off the field, he was living a secret double life. Unknown to teammates and fans, he was deeply involved in the drug trade, and this wasn't small time. Hurd had ambitions of becoming a major drug dealer, arranging deals for cocaine and marijuana on a massive scale. In December 2011, Hurd's empire crumbled. Federal agents arrested him outside a Chicago steakhouse during a sting operation. He was caught trying to buy a kilo of cocaine, with plans to distribute up to 10 kilos weekly, alongside 1,000 pounds of marijuana. The Bears cut ties immediately, and the NFL world was stunned. The investigation revealed Hurd's deep involvement, with accomplices like his friend Toby and others handling drug deals. Despite his lawyers arguing that he had exaggerated the extent of his involvement in the crimes, the evidence against him was both extensive and compelling. It left little room for doubt about his actions. After a thorough legal process, the court reached its decision, and in 2013, Hurd was handed a significant sentence of 15 years in federal prison, underscoring the seriousness of his offenses. What are your thoughts on this dramatic rise and fall? Let us know in the comments below. Moving on, we have Trevone Boykin. The NFL is where dreams come true, but for some, those dreams turn into nightmares. Today, we're diving into the shocking story of Trevone Boykin, a football prodigy whose promising career spiraled into scandal and incarceration. Born in Mesquite, Texas, Boykin's talent for football stood out early. In high school, he was a star quarterback, earning a scholarship to Texas Christian University, TCU. At TCU, Boykin became a sensation, breaking records and earning titles like Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. He led his team to victory after victory, even throwing 7 touchdowns in a single game. Scouts called him a future NFL star. In 2016, Boykin signed with the Seattle Seahawks as an undrafted free agent. His rookie season showed glimpses of greatness, but soon, the cracks began to show. It started in 2015 with a bar fight before the Alamo Bowl. This led to his suspension and a probation sentence, but that was just the beginning. In 2017, he was arrested after a car crash involving injuries and faced charges of intoxication and marijuana marijuana possession. His off-field troubles began overshadowing his talent, and his NFL career stagnated. The breaking point came in 2018 when Boykin's girlfriend accused him of assault, alleging he broke her jaw in a violent altercation.
Mansfield police confirmed they're investigating Boykin for aggravated assault. As for his former girlfriend with a broken jaw and missing teeth, she says she will not cover for him or his career anymore.
The Seahawks, already wary of his behavior, immediately cut ties. The assault charges destroyed any hope of an NFL comeback. By 2020, Boykin, who had once been on a high rise in his career, found his journey abruptly cut short when he pleaded guilty to charges of assault and witness tampering. These serious offenses led to a 3-year prison sentence, marking a devastating fall from grace for someone who had achieved so much in such a short time. What had seemed like an unstoppable ascent was now overshadowed by legal troubles and the consequences of his actions, leaving his promising future in shambles. Trevone Boykin's story is a powerful lesson, a reminder that talent alone isn't enough. Fame can vanish in an instant if personal choices aren't sound. His journey serves as a cautionary tale about how quickly a promising future can be destroyed, just like that of Eric Naposki. Eric Naposki started out with big dreams in Tuckahoe, New York. Born on December 20th, 1966, he showed his passion for football early on, playing 8 seasons of Pop Warner football with the Blue Devils. By high school, he was a rising star, dominating the field at East Chester High and earning top honors like All-County in 1982 and All-State in 1983. His talent earned him a full scholarship to the University of Connecticut, where he played linebacker. But things took a turn. Disputes with his coach ended his college career early. Undiscouraged, Naposki chased his NFL dreams, signing with the New England Patriots as an undrafted free agent in 1988. Though his time in the NFL was brief, playing for teams like the Patriots and Cowboys, he made a name for himself with his fierce determination. But behind the touchdowns and tackles, a darker story was brewing. Fast forward to December 15th, 1994. Millionaire Bill McLaughlin was found murdered in his Newport Beach home. The community was shaken, and the investigation uncovered a shocking twist. McLaughlin's girlfriend, Nanette Johnston, had a secret lover, Eric Naposki. Johnston, known for targeting wealthy men, had been living a life of luxury funded by McLaughlin, but her greed knew no bounds. She and Naposki conspired to kill McLaughlin, aiming to cash in on $2.5 million from his life insurance and savings. The case went cold for 15 years, until 2009, when new evidence led to their arrests. At their trial in 2011, witnesses described Johnston as the mastermind and Naposki as her willing partner. Despite no DNA or fingerprints tying him directly to the crime, the circumstantial evidence sealed his fate. In 2012, Eric Naposki received a life sentence without the possibility of parole, a punishment he shared with his accomplice, Nanette Johnston. The conviction marked a dramatic downfall for Naposki, whose life once held the promise of a bright future as a professional athlete. Despite the verdict, Naposki continues to proclaim his innocence, maintaining that he had no part in the crime for which he was convicted. However, his repeated appeals to overturn the decision have been unsuccessful, leaving him to serve out his sentence behind bars. Naposki's story is both tragic and haunting. Once celebrated for his athletic potential, he is now infamous as a convicted killer. Documentaries exploring his life and the events leading to his imprisonment have painted an unpleasant picture of how ambition and greed can unravel promising lives and lead to devastating consequences. It is not surprising to know that Naposki is not the only athlete who is now a convicted killer we have on this list. Similar to Naposki's story is that of Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith. Once a rising star in the NFL, now a name synonymous with darkness, his story is one of glory on the field and chilling crimes off it. How did a football hero become a convicted murderer? Born in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, Anthony showed incredible talent early on. Football wasn't just a game for him, it was his ticket out. College scouts noticed, and soon he was playing for the University of Arizona, where he dominated as a defensive powerhouse. In 1990, Smith's dreams came true. The Los Angeles Raiders picked him as the 11th overall draft pick. Over his career, he racked up 57.5 and 190 tackles, proving himself as a fearsome defensive end. But behind the success, cracks were forming. Teammates whispered about his erratic behavior, and by the time he retired in 1998, those cracks were widening. Little did the world know his life was taking a terrifying turn. In 1999, Anthony committed his first known crime, posing as a police officer to kidnap 2 brothers from a car wash in Los Angeles. Ricky and Kevin Nettles were tortured, burned, burned and found dead miles apart. The brutality was shocking, but the nightmare wasn't over. In 2001, Smith struck again. Dennis Henderson went through a terrifying and brutal experience that left people in shock. He was kidnapped and attacked in a horrible way, being stabbed over 40 times. On top of that, his throat was cut. His body was left in a rental car, adding to the horror of the situation. The extreme violence of this crime shocked communities, leaving people scared as they tried to make sense of such a terrible act. During the trial, evidence piled up. Zip ties, rope, and books on professional killing linked Smith to the murders. Witnesses confirmed his involvement. The once celebrated athlete was sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms without parole. Speaking of lifelong prison sentence, you might want to brace yourselves for the next athlete, Rae Carruth. Rae Carruth. Rae Carruth, from NFL star to a name that shook America. This is the tragic story of talent, temptation, and the choices that ended a promising career. Let's dive into how this rising football star's life spiraled into darkness. Rae Carruth, born January 27, 1974, in Sacramento, California, was destined for greatness. A standout athlete from a young age, his skills earned him a scholarship to the University of Colorado. He became a star wide receiver, catching the attention of NFL scouts. By 1997, the dream came true. Carruth was drafted 27th overall by the Carolina Panthers. He shone in his rookie season, leading all rookies with 44 catches for 545 yards. But behind the fame, cracks began to form. By his second and third seasons, injuries slowed Carruth's momentum. Meanwhile, his personal life got messy. He was dating Cherika Adams, a relationship filled with tension. When Cherika became pregnant, it added financial and emotional strain. Carruth already had a son, and reportedly didn't want the responsibility of another child. Then came November 1999, a night that shocked the nation.
I've been shot.
You've been shot? Where are you at, Meggett?
I'm 8 months pregnant.
How'd this happen?
I was following my baby's daddy, Rae Carruth, the football player.
Where's he
He was
at?
in the car in front of me, and he slowed down until I pulled up beside me and did this.
And then where'd he go?
He did laugh. I think he did it. I don't know what to think.
Cherika was ambushed and shot 4 times while driving in Charlotte, North Carolina. Despite her critical condition, she managed to call 911 and implicate Carruth, saying he'd orchestrated the attack. The trial in 2000 became a national spectacle. Prosecutors argued Carruth plotted the murder with confessed gunman Van Brett Watkins and driver Michael Kennedy. Chilling details emerged. Carruth allegedly blocked Cherika's car moments before the ambush. Her heartbreaking 911 call became key evidence. The defense claimed Carruth had no motive, earning over $650,000 a year, and that Watkins acted alone. But the jury convicted Carruth of conspiracy to commit murder and other charges. He was sentenced to nearly 19 years in prison. Cherika's mother, Sandra Adams, raised her grandson Chancellor, who was born with cerebral palsy due to the attack. Chancellor became a beacon of hope amidst the tragedy. Carruth served his sentence, expressing remorse upon his release in 2018. Yet, his story remains a grim reminder. Talent can't outrun the consequences of poor choices. From NFL stardom to infamy, Rae Carruth's fall is a powerful lesson about accountability and the impact of violence. Violence, well, I think the next one is him. Keith Wright. Keith Wright's journey began in 1979, a kid with big dreams and incredible talent for football. By 1999, he was making waves at Sacramento City College, showing the world his potential as a defensive end. His hard work earned him a spot at the University of Missouri, where he became an All-Big 12 defensive star. In 2003, his dream came true when the Houston Texans drafted him, signing a massive $925,000 contract. But life in the NFL wasn't all glory. Wright struggled to find his place, bouncing between practice squads with teams like the Colts and Lions. By 2006, his football career was over. Fast forward to 2011, Wright's life took a terrifying turn. Over 3 horrifying nights in July and August, residents of Natomas, Sacramento, became victims of violent home invasions. Armed and ruthless, Wright demanded cash and valuables. In one chilling case, he kidnapped and assaulted a woman, forcing her to withdraw money from banks. Authorities acted fast. Wright's mistake, trying to exchange rare foreign currency stolen during one of the robberies. DNA evidence and stolen property found at his home sealed the case. In November 2012, Wright stood trial for 19 charges: kidnapping, armed robbery, assault, and more. The verdict? Guilty. The sentence? A staggering 234 years in prison. Diving into the dramatic and tragic story, the next one will shock you. Ware Jr. Ware Jr. was born in the late 80s in sunny San Diego, California. From the start, he showed incredible talent for football, earning him a spot at the University of Washington. As a tight end, Ware's speed, size, and skill made him a standout player. NFL scouts couldn't ignore him, and in 2003, the Washington Redskins drafted him with high hopes. At first, Ware delivered. He was known for his athleticism and clutch plays, quickly becoming a fan favorite. But as his career took off, signs of trouble began to surface. Rumors about his off-field behavior started circulating, fights, erratic actions, but were brushed off as the pressures of fame. The real trouble began years later. In 2021, Ware was arrested in Texas on serious charges, drug possession and firearm violations. This wasn't a one-time mistake. Authorities revealed he had been under investigation for a while, suspecting him of involvement in a broader criminal network. The charges piled up: drug trafficking, firearm possession as a felon, crimes that carried heavy penalties. The case grabbed headlines, and Ware's life unraveled in the public eye. His defense claimed he was targeted for his fame, but the evidence was undeniable. Witnesses and forensic proof linked him to criminal activities.
Keith, there was jury selection was set to begin in Ware's trial, but he accepted a plea deal from prosecutors. Ware pleaded guilty to drugs and weapons charges and was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
In 2022, the verdict was in guilty. Ware received a lengthy prison sentence, ending his once promising NFL career. If we're honestly talking about a major downfall, what's coming next will completely blow your mind. Dave Meggett. Dave Meggett, once a shining star in the NFL, now a name carved in dispute. Born and raised in North Charleston, South Carolina, Dave's football journey started young. His incredible talent as a running back earned him a spot at Morgan State University, where he caught the attention of NFL scouts. In 1989, Meggett was drafted by the New York Giants, kickstarting a decade-long career. Known for his speed and agility, he became a crucial player, even helping the Giants clinch victory in Super Bowl XV5. Over 6 seasons, Meggett racked up nearly 1,700 rushing yards and over 3,000 receiving yards, earning a Pro Bowl selection in 1996. Fans loved him, and the NFL spotlight shone bright. But behind the success, things started to change. In 1998, Meggett faced assault allegations in Canada, a trial that ended with a hung jury. Soon after, his life spiraled further. After retiring, he faced accusations of sexual assault and resigned from his role as a parks director in North Carolina. In 2007, he was convicted of sexual battery receiving probation, but the troubles didn't stop. In 2009, everything came crashing down. That year, Meggett was charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct and burglary involving a college student in South Carolina. The trial was gripping. His defense claimed consent, while prosecutors described a violent, traumatic assault.
Today, former NFL star David Meggett found out his sentence after being convicted of criminal sexual conduct and...
The jury delivered a swift verdict: guilty. Meggett was sentenced to 30 years in prison, marking a shocking fall from grace. And last, but definitely not least, the most brutal fall from grace of any athlete was that of Rosier. Robert Rosier. Robert is a man who went from NFL hopeful to a notorious criminal. His journey is filled with extreme highs and devastating lows, so stay tuned as we uncover how this once promising athlete became entangled in a violent cult. Born in 1955 in Anchorage, Alaska, Robert Rosier's life started off with a lot of promise. Growing up in a military family, he moved around a lot but settled in California, where his athletic skills truly shined. He was a standout football player in high school, known for his impressive physical feats. A high jumper and sprinter, his talents earned him high praise, but his grades, not so much. Despite struggling academically, Rosier pursued football, playing for Grays Harbor College in Washington. His performance caught the attention of UC Berkeley, where he became known as one of the team's best athletes. In 1979, he was drafted into the NFL by the St. Louis Cardinals, but what should have been the beginning of a successful career quickly took a dark turn. Rosier's NFL career was cut short by rumors of drug use and petty crime. After a brief play in the NFL, he moved to Canada to play for the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Saskatchewan Roughriders, then joined the Oakland Raiders, but it was 1982 that would change his life forever. That's when Rosier encountered Yahweh Ben Yahweh, the leader of a religious group called the Nation of Yahweh. This cult preached that African Americans were the true Jews, and it captivated Rosier. He gave up everything and adopted the name Nehariah Israel, but this was just the beginning of his descent. To join the inner circle of the cult, known as the Brotherhood, Rosier had to prove himself through murder. In 1986, 1986, he committed his first murder, stabbing a man in Miami. Over the next few months, he became involved in a series of brutal killings, including the murders of Raymond Kelly and Cecil Branch. All of this in the name of the Nation of Yahweh. In 1988, after Rosier was arrested for multiple murders, he agreed to testify against the cult in exchange for a reduced sentence. His testimony helped convict several members, including Yahweh ben Yahweh himself, but despite his cooperation, Rosier's past caught up with him. After serving 10 years in prison, he was paroled in 1996, but his troubles weren't over. In 1999, Rosier was arrested again, this time for something as simple as bouncing checks. Under California's 3 strikes law, he was sentenced to 25 years to life. Today, Robert Rosier remains behind bars, serving his time under a new identity. Did you enjoy this video? Click on any of the cards on your screen right now for similar content. Thank you.